Imagine a civilization that rose not from fertile valleys or mighty rivers, but from a swampy island in the middle of a vast lake, and transformed itself into one of the most astonishing empires the world has ever seen. A society whose warriors inspired fear across mountains and deserts, whose shimmering temples pierced the sky like stone lightning, and whose devotion to their gods fueled a world of beauty, knowledge, and blood. And today we step into that world so we can uncover its origins, its triumphs, its tragedies, and the legacy that still shapes modern Mexico in ways most people never imagine. And in these next moments, we will peel back the myths and enter the real Aztec Empire, the empire of the Mexica people who defied hunger, isolation, invasion, and prophecy to rise to incredible power. Welcome back to Hiss Tory, where we explore the stories that textbooks leave behind, and today, we are diving into the complete history of the Aztecs. So get ready for a long journey across centuries through battles, rituals, legends, and the incredible resilience of a people who refuse to disappear. The Aztec story begins not with an empire, but with wandering as the Mexica people spent generations moving across central Mexico, searching for a promised homeland that their god Huitzilopochtli had foretold. A place where they would one day see the prophesied sign of an eagle perched on a cactus holding a serpent. And during their long migration, they were often poor, landless, and unwelcome, forced to survive through sheer determination and the belief that destiny was leading them somewhere. Even when that path seemed harsh and endless, these early struggles shaped the identity of the Mexica people, because before they built temples and before they forged alliances, they learned to endure rejection, famine, and constant conflict. And it was this tough resilience that later fueled their rise to power. Once they finally found the place they thought the gods had prepared for them. When the Mexica finally reached the Valley of Mexico, they found a region already filled with powerful city-states, each with armies, farmland, and long histories. And at first the Mexica were seen as unwelcome outsiders, pushed to settle in the least desirable lands. Yet it was here that fate revealed itself, when on a small swampy island in Lake Texcoco they saw the sacred sign, the eagle, the cactus, the serpent. And in that moment they believed the gods had spoken, and the island became their chosen home. Although the land was wet, unstable, and surrounded by water, the Mexica saw opportunity where others saw misery, and they began to transform this humble island into a foundation for their future capital, a city that would one day astonish everyone who laid eyes upon it. On the small island, the Mexica began constructing Tenochtitlan, a city unlike anything else in the Americas, and by the time it reached its peak, it featured stone temples, bustling markets, grand causeways, bridges, canals, and floating gardens known as chinampas that turned the shallow lake into an agricultural masterpiece, capable of feeding hundreds of thousands of people. And even Spanish conquistadors admitted that Tenochtitlan looked more impressive than many cities in Europe. The Mexica created a city where water and stone blended together, where temples rose from shimmering canals, and where thousands of people moved through an urban world full of color, sound, and order, proving that even a swamp could become the heart of a thriving empire through engineering, discipline, and vision. Religion shaped every part of Aztec society, since they believed that the universe balanced on the edge of chaos, and that the sun itself depended on human offerings to continue rising each day. And although human sacrifice shocks modern audiences, it made perfect sense in their worldview, where each person existed within a cosmic cycle of life, death, and rebirth, and where sacrifice was not murder but a sacred duty to keep the world alive. Their gods represented forces like sun, rain, war, destiny, and fertility, and the Aztecs used ritual music, incense, drums, costumes, dancing, and elaborate ceremonies to connect themselves to the divine, and these rituals unified the empire by giving everyone the same spiritual purpose and identity. The Aztec Empire expanded through warfare, and through the political strategy known as the Triple Alliance, which united Tenochtitlan with the cities of Texcoco and Tlacopan, allowing them to conquer neighboring regions and demand tribute in the form of food, gold, feathers, textiles, and labor. And although their armies used simple weapons like wooden swords edged with obsidian, they were skilled, disciplined, and terrifying in battle. Aztec warrior societies such as the Eagle Warriors and Jaguar Warriors gained great prestige by capturing enemies rather than killing them outright, because captives were vital to their religious ceremonies. And through this blend of battle skill, religious motivation, and disciplined organization, the Aztec Empire became the dominant force in central Mexico. Despite the empire's reputation for warfare, most Aztecs were ordinary people working as farmers, merchants, carpenters, potters, teachers, and traders. And daily life revolved around family, agriculture, education, and the bustling markets where thousands of items were exchanged, including food, clothing, dyes, tools, and crafts. And the great market of Tlatelolco impressed even Spanish chroniclers with its order and scale. Homes were built from adobe and stone. Meals consisted of maize, beans, squash, peppers, and chocolate. And society valued discipline, hard work, and community, painting a picture of a civilization that was not only powerful in war but rich in culture and daily life. The Aztecs were accomplished scientists and scholars who created detailed calendars, wrote vibrant codices filled with symbols and colors, practiced advanced medicine using hundreds of plants and herbs, engineered canals and dikes to control the lake waters, and built schools for children of all classes because they believed education preserved the strength of the empire. Their understanding of astronomy helped them predict seasons and ceremonies, and their writing system allowed priests and historians to record everything from tribute lists to legends. And these achievements reveal that the Aztec Empire was not simply a warrior civilization, but a sophisticated world of knowledge and innovation. Everything changed in 1519, when Hernán Cortés arrived with a small group of Spanish soldiers, who quickly realized that, although the Aztecs were powerful, they had many enemies among the surrounding tribes who resented paying tribute. And Cortés skillfully turned these rivalries into alliances that gave him thousands of indigenous warriors who marched beside him as he moved toward Tenochtitlan. Smallpox swept through the Aztec population, causing devastation that weakened the empire at the worst possible moment. And after months of tension, violence erupted into full war, leading to a brutal siege where hunger, fear, and chaos spread throughout the once mighty city, until at last Tenochtitlan fell in 1521, marking not just the collapse of the Aztec Empire, but the beginning of a new colonial world that would permanently reshape the Americas. Although the empire fell, the Aztec people did not vanish because their descendants still live throughout Mexico, and their language Nahuatl still influences modern speech. Their foods like chocolate and maize remain essential around the world. Their agricultural methods such as chinampas inspire sustainable farming today, and their art, architecture, symbols, and cultural traditions continue to shape Mexico's national identity. The story of the Aztecs is not simply a tale of rise and fall, but a reminder that civilizations evolve and transform, and that people endure beyond empires. And their legacy remains one of resilience, creativity, knowledge, and cultural brilliance that continues to inspire millions. Thank you for watching this full documentary here on Hiss Tory. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the complete history of the Aztec Empire, and want more stories brought to life in a clear, dramatic, and accessible way, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share this documentary with others who love history just as much as you do.